the fear of moving.
And so I started out primarily in 2012 with 4 children's books. I banged out content for 4 children's books, ended up getting them into corporate. It was my first ever personal website that had been designed, and as a result of my website being out there, I got sought out by the network owner, Cameron Steele from the Contact Talk Radio Network. He then embarked upon having a conversation with me, which involved, have you ever considered being your own show host? To which, of course, at that point in my life, no, I had not. So once that started happening, I knew that I was going to take this big. This was not going to be a hobby. Although I'm very impassioned by what I do, it really had to be with the mindset and the projected vision of this needs to eventually monetize. But I know that I need to pay my dues. I need to establish my credibility. I need to get my stats going. I need to get good, caliber, recognizably, internationally recognizable names. And it wasn't just going after top tier people for the sake of namesake. It was really an opportunity to use my platforms to publicly thank these people for the ways they had been instrumental in my own journey within personal growth, personal development, like Deepak Chopra, like Lisa Gibbons. And then it became Jack Canfield. And then it became one person after another whose content I had for decades had on my bookshelves, or whose different services I had been immersed in, masterminds, things of that nature. And so as a result of getting all these top tier people, then unbeknownst to me at the time, fast forward to 3 years into radio, maybe 2.5 years, Jeffrey Hazlett, who's the CEO, founder of the C-Suite Network, the most trusted business network in the world, he was paying very close attention to me. And so he reached out to me and asked me to join his network. So the benefit, first of all, and how I was able to monetize was a lot of people are doing this irrespective or independent of being connected to actual networks, and there's no judgment with that. However, because I'm connected to 2 networks, the combined listenership for anybody who I'm showcasing on a weekly basis is in excess of 8 million people. I'm heard, my guest and I of each week were heard in 145 countries, 220 TV, radio, terrestrial satellites, and the potential for millions of iTunes downloads. And it's not just iTunes, it's Apple, it's Spotify, it's iHeartRadio, it's all over the place. Any actual hosting platform, I think you can find Living Fearlessly with Lisa McDonald. As a result of doing this, I very graciously was also personally reached out to by Arianna Huffington. So Arianna Huffington was paying attention to me, recognizing my content, recognizing the guests who I was showcasing, etc. And she personally, not her team, but she personally had asked me if I wanted to be a fellow contributor to her site, Thrive Global. To which, of course, I was like, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Truly honored. And because I was vigilant with my content, and of course, once you're welcomed into the Thrive Global family, there's no prerequisite for how frequently or infrequently you upload your content. But because I was doing it very religiously, and I was doing it in addition to all the other balls that everyone knows I'm juggling, that also impressed her. So fast forward to over a year ago now, she reached out to me and she proposed that we change the formatting of what it is I was uploading for content on Thrive Global. And as a way of maximizing my time management, and because my bandwidth was really, like I was starting to feel like I was exceeding my bandwidth for getting stuff done and meeting timelines, although I always have and have never dropped the ball on that, thankfully. She said, why don't you do away with your original content, and why don't you do a follow-up feature article inclusive of the podcast link for who it is you're showcasing on a weekly basis, which will drive the traffic back not only to yourself for Living Fearlessly with Lisa McDonald, but inclusively with your guests of each week. And I said, fantastic. And so although things were already going extremely well prior to her gracious gifting and invitation to me, it's exponentially gone completely vertical. And so people who know anything about media, anybody who knows anything about exposure, anybody who knows anything about marketing, and for entrepreneurs, and if you're a smart entrepreneur and you're doing things correctly, you will have a marketing budget. And where do people want to put their marketing dollars? they want to put it in a place that they know is going to, they're going to get a return on their rate of investment. And this is why the testimony, outside of the lovely testimonials that I've received from people who I've showcased on my platforms, the real testimonial is when people are willing to pay a second, a third, or a fourth time to come back on my show because they encountered and experienced firsthand the benefits and the residuals of having been showcased the first time. So what I say to people is, you know, and I am living fearlessly, you know, because you will oftentimes, for as many things as you do on social media to, you know, plug yourself. And I say this, be your own hero, be your own shiro, be your own leader, be your own best friend. And so if people don't sense that there's genuine buy-in or conviction for how you view yourself or how you carry yourself or how you perform, then they're going to pick up on that. Energetically, they're going to pick up on that. And we're in an oversaturated market. We're in an oversaturated industry. So there's plenty of people to pick from. But I'm fierce. I'm fierce. I don't care if people think I'm narcissistic. I don't care if people think I'm egoic, which I'm not. But I'm in competition with myself. So I'm here to outdo my own stats. I'm out here to like manifest the other people that I'm trying to get. I'm in quarterly contact with Oprah's people who have been very gracious to me. But she's, you know, Oprah's like, we all know she's one of the most off the hook people on the planet. And, you know, it got to a point where they said, you know, she's not doing interviews right now because she's too plugged in with what she's got going on. But we respect what you're doing. And if there were an opportunity to accept an interview, they would be receptive. I've now got Gary Vaynerchuk, who's going to be coming on my program. We're just looking to cement a date. You know, so I mean, the list goes on. You've got to establish credibility. You've got to increase your social media footprint. You know, don't be scared to elicit people. You know, don't wait for people to friend you. You go after people. When you see what people are doing based on their settings being public and their bios being reflective of speaker, in my case, speaker, author, coach, mentor, you know, blah, 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 then you go after them. And it's not with the expectation that you're just going to like hound them and you know, trump business up right away. It's, you know, you want to get it's synergistically wanting to be aligned with the right people who are in your tribe anyway, who get a real pulse and sense and appreciation and respect for what you've cultivated. They then will pay attention to you. Then a nice dialogue unfolds. I don't do business with anyone I don't have a phone call with first, because the energy that transmits in our telephone conversation is perceivably what's going to transmit on the airwaves. And my number one priority is always to my loyal listeners and my podcast subscribers, because they're the ones who put me where I'm at.
Lisa, I mean, you're just dropping knowledge bombs at a crazy rate. Where can people find you? What's the best place for people to?
I appreciate that. Well, you and I found each other over on LinkedIn, which is, as I always say, it's my preferred site. It's not my only site. I try to engage people everywhere that they want to engage in at. But LinkedIn is where it converts for me business-wise. But I'm on Facebook. I'm on all platforms, social media-wise. I also, as I mentioned, go live every Friday on the Contact Talk Radio Network. I'm on C-Suite Network. I wear a few hats within the C-Suite. I'm up on Thrive Global. I'm a VIP contributor for Arianna Huffington's site, Thrive Global. My website is livingfearlesslywithlisa.com. My email address is lisa at livingfearlesslywithlisa.com. I put my phone number out there because, again, I like to talk on the phone. It's 289-684-7707. I'm in Canada on Eastern Standard Time, so if you're calling somewhere else, put the 1 in front of the number. I can't tell you how many people have called me. I can't get a hold of you. Well, it's long distance. So, and WhatsApp, you know, same phone number. You can reach me through WhatsApp. We can do Skype. Skype is lisa.mcdonald238. I'm all over the place.
Living Fearlessly with Lisa McDonald. Again, look for the links above or below. Lisa, thank you so much for coming on the show and giving me your time.
I can't thank you enough on this Friday morning for putting your balls in my face. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor.
Balls in your face right now. balls in your face, balls in your face, balls in your face right now.